Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tim. Today we're going to go through everything that's in my firebox. So I dumped all this out. I was taking inventory. I like to see kind of where I'm at, what I need to restock on and resupply. So I'm going to go through, as I put everything back in one by one, what's inside my firebox. And we'll start off with my grill. So this grate is one that I like to use for making my own fire pits out on the trail. And I did a video on this. So this is number one thing at the bottom of my firebox. And the next thing, I walked you through this video as well. It's another little grill that I use. And I mentioned that there's room in here, so I'm going to set this inside my firebox. And these are the fire starters we use around for wood fires. So I'm going to put them in next. Next thing I'm going to the firebox will be this little fire shield. And it's small, it's good to, it's 12 pieces, it folds out. And it's good to set up whenever you have a lot of wind to kind of block some of the wind while you're cooking, which gives you a better cook. I also use this as a chimney to sit down to make more of a fire tunnel whenever I'm cooking hamburgers and stuff like that. So this has been a good piece of kit. I also showed it off in the last video, so we won't talk about it too much, but that's the next thing in my kit. Next, I keep in here just because it's a liquid. I don't want it to spill out on the back of my Gladiator. And it's for my chainsaw, for the bar. So I keep it in here to where it doesn't make a mess. Decided I store some charcoal lighter fluid to assist with anytime I'm doing a fire with charcoal. Also keep a spare bottle for my jet boil in here as well, so that will go in next. I keep a couple of these fusee road flares in my kit. These are good for if you have some wood that's a little bit damp. You can normally get it going good with one of these fusees, so I'll keep it as part of my fire kit. Looks like I need to restock on those. Next, I keep a full green gas bottle in here. I try to use my propane tank every time I get a chance, but I do keep a spare one, even in case the propane tank runs out. I'm not going to be, I don't know how many times I've been in the middle of a steak and your propane tank runs out, so that's my backup for that. So I'll keep it in there as well. Next, I carry a little grill brush. It gives me the bristles to clean the grates after I use it. That way I can store it without a bunch of meat and gunk and stuff on it. I like storing everything clean. So this is my grill brush. This is the can of Zycar Premium Butane. I use this for my cigar lighters. It's for all windproof lighters. It's a really clean burning flame, so it's perfect for cigars and stuff like that. So I keep it next in here to refill all my lighters. And speaking of lighters, this is my actual fire kit on this. I keep everything from just a normal lighter you use for candles or barbecue grills all the way down to your ferro rods. A little bit of everything lives in here. There's a whole bunch of Bic lighters. I have this other little torch here that's handy as well. And if you notice, all these refill with the butane, so I'm always able to keep those topped off and fill them up when they run out. So that's handy. But I got all kinds of different torches in here that I can use for starting fires. I also have the waterproof matches in here, the military style. So I have a lot of different options for fire starting and keeping the fire going. So this is my fire bag. I'll just keep everything in here. That lives in there as well. And the very last thing I carry in my fire bag is charcoal. All right, I barely touched on this bag out in the field. It was kind of hard with the camera angle. So I'm going to bring it in and show you what's inside the bag. What this bag is made up of is what I need to start a fire. First thing I have are these army style matches. They're the waterproof matches. They do a great job. I've used them a lot in the past. Next thing is just a standard torch. Just a 1-burner torch does a really great job starting a fire, followed by a 4-burner torch, which does also a very good job. Then I have your standard lighter with a flame. It works great. I've used it a lot. And just the standard Bic lighters. These, if you notice, I have some black tape wrapped around them. And the important thing to know about these is don't wrap electrical tape around them. Because we wrap the tape for it to be a flame extender. You're going to need something like a duck style tape, just because the electrical tape is made to heat up and not burn, to where the duct tape will burn and you can use it as a flame extender. Just simply wrap it around your lighter. And you also have some extra duct tape if you ever need it. You know it's in your fire kit, so it's multi-use. Next thing inside here is just a magnifying glass. So this magnifying glass you can use along with the sun, and you can place it over something that's combustible and hold it, and the sun will heat it up to a point where you will have ignition on that source. And of course your ferro rod, which I think most people carry. This one's been well used, but I still love starting fires with this and going back to the primitive type ways. Another torch I carry by Egnic. This came along with my propane fire stove, my propane fire pit, and it's just a single burner, but it gets the job done. I like it because it's flexible. And if you notice, all these are refillable, so that canister of Zycar fluid inside the fire kit will fuel each one of these with extra fuel. I have another flame extender, just an old rope that you can peel apart and use it to start a fire. And the last thing I keep in here is kind of a surprise. This was bought for me as a gift. It was originally designed to air up my mattress, my inflatable mattress inside my rooftop tent. Unfortunately, it just didn't get the job done, so I repurposed it. Since it is rechargeable by USB-C, it is handy whenever you use it. Let's see if we can get it to come on. As a blower, you can use that to blow onto the fire to get a good fire started. I try to carry the match light to where you don't have to carry the charcoal fuel with you. And I keep it all in here. I threw in one of these little spoons that you can scoop up the charcoal with. And I just put it in a normal bag. I don't carry it around in the bag it came in. And it just fits right there on top. So everything fits in here nice and neat. Anything that I have to do with my fire or any liquids that might leak out, I carry inside this box. And all right, being a former fireman and have fought some forest fires myself, let's go over some tools that I use whenever I gather wood for cooking and also just for having a campfire. And the number one thing I've always liked to have is a good splitting axe. You can take a log that's a bigger size and you can make it more down into a manageable and burnable size. And what I like about this, it's got a carbon fiber handle. It's comfortable. I can get enough of a swing on here. It's got a splitting style head to it. And the safety shield is nice too. It's nice to be able to store it. I store this in the Gladiator without any problems. So an axe is my number one thing. Going along with my axe, I carry a little hatchet. And I've carried this since I was a kid. I got this in grade school. My grandpa gave it to me for my birthday when I joined the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts. And I've carried it ever since. And I don't know how many logs and pieces of wood this is actually split, but it's been a bunch. And it's great around the campfire when you're trying to bust up little kindling for a small fire to get it started. So I recommend you get some type of little axe because this one sure has served me. The next thing I like for cutting wood is just a simple little handsaw. And this one's made by Gerber. I'm very happy with it. I've had it for a long time. And the neat thing about this is it's multifunctional. You can put it in if you're going out hiking and you're going to be out overnight and do a couple-day trip, you can carry this. It doesn't weigh very much. It's very light. It has extra blade storage in here as well, which I like. If you're going to go out kayak camping, this fits down in the well of your kayak very well. So you know, this has been a good piece of kit to carry with me, and I'm very happy with it. It has a belt loop where you can wear it on your belt. I've never actually done that, but this has been a useful saw. The next thing I carry with me is a chainsaw, and it's a DeWalt. It's a 12-inch, and what I like about it is it takes the same battery that my impact wrench, my drill, and my circular saw, everything fits the same battery. So I like that about this particular chainsaw, and that was the reason why I picked this DeWalt model, was because of that, because I have a lot of batteries for those anyway, and I can just carry a charger, and I can carry a couple extra batteries with me in the Jeep, and I can, if I have to, I can recharge them with the dual battery system. So this has been handy, and this is great when you're out in the forest. You can always find some fall down firewood, and a lot of times it may not be at your campsite. You have to go scouting a little bit, but you'll find it where it's falling off trees, especially this year with all the storms that we've had. We've had a ton of fall down. So you can use this chainsaw. You can break up bigger logs into more manageable logs for your campfire, and it's been a really good piece of kit for that. Now, one of the things I would recommend, if you haven't been around with a chainsaw, I've used a chainsaw pretty much all my life. I come from Kansas. We had to cut firewood for the stove, so I'm used to chainsaws. But if you're not, you should have some eye protection. And this really doesn't get loud enough for hearing protection. You could wear some if you wanted to. And these I got at Harbor Freight. These are actually chainsaw gloves made by Hardy. They're padded, they have leather on them. So anytime you're using sharp tools and you're cutting things, I would recommend that you use gloves. And if you're really not sure how a chainsaw works, watch some videos, educate yourself, maybe talk to some people that are familiar with them, because you can really hurt yourself with a chainsaw. While working for the ambulance, I responded to calls where people have cut their legs, they've cut their hands, they've cut fingers off. So chainsaws can be very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing with them. So there's actually a proper way to use them, position your body and everything else. So please take a chainsaw related course and be safe with these. The next thing I carry is a trash bag. You've guys seen these before. People hang them off the back of the Jeep. I used to have one hanging off my Wrangler on the spare tire carrier. And these things are awesome for being able to collect wood, because a lot of times where I'm camping at, there may not be a lot of fall down. So I'm gonna have to go exploring a little bit and find some. And whenever I find it, I got this big bag. I can store it all in, and it holds a lot of firewood in it. So I like that. I can go collect it. I can put it in here and make it more manageable. I set this right on top of my roof rack on top of the Jeep, and I'm able to take it back to camp that way. And if I have to make another trip, you just empty it out and go back. Or in around the campsite, a lot of times the wood that I'm not burning, I'll go ahead and store it inside this bag as well. If it rains, it's going to keep it dry from getting wet. That way, I don't like to bring wood from home. There's a National Forest doesn't recommend it anyway. They actually prohibit it in a lot of areas. So having a bag like this, when you're out, you can use this. And it's really a big bag. You can stuff it full, and it's also good for garbage when you pick up everything around the campsite. And it's a very multifunctional, multi-purpose bag, and that's what I like. Anytime I look at a piece of kit, I like something I can use for multiple purposes. So this has been a really handy bag to have with me. Well, that does it for my fire starting. I've been a fireman all these years, so I have learned a thing or two about fires. And I've fought some forest fires before, so that I want to remind you guys to be careful when you're out. Pay attention to burn bans. Don't start fires in prohibited areas. And you know, it's a big responsibility to have a fire, and make sure your fire is always out at the end of the night and at the end of your trip when you're leaving the area. Make sure you take water and you fully extinguish your fire down. So I hope you got some value out of this. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.